bases. This one I already started on.
Okay.
So you got 9 people watching you.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me. It won't look like much to begin with, but hopefully we can get started. And I am looking for suggestions what to sculpt for the basing material. It's picking up on your paint, so I'm going to need a surface.
Right. Working on it. How many of these do you want? I'm going to give you just the inserts right now.
I just want to get an idea of what size it needs to go on. You said the large ones would be 100 millimeter.
Yeah,
So
there's
about 4
75s
inches.
as well.
3
I can give you a 75 actually. I have a 75. Grab. So I need a tray for you. I need hot water. What else? Base. What else?
Tea?
Tea? I can make some tea. Cool. I'm gonna do that.
And right now I am just making some snakes to start. Like I said, not very interesting in the beginning, but sculpting, as with drawing, you start with some basic shapes and then you just add on to it. Everything is just made of smaller things. You guys are quiet. See if I can move the camera up so you can actually see me, maybe. He's got so many lights and doohickeys here. I wish you guys could see the desk from the other side. Excellent. So just starting with some really long, skinny snakes, and then we are going to cut and start joining them. So I'll start about here. That a nice little roundish end.
Alright, here's your tray. Where do you need the water? I'm gonna put some tack on it so you can't dump it accidentally.
That is fantastic. You know I'm a klutz.
Yeah, I do. Wild Panda has appeared. As always.
Yes. I am trading jobs today.
I'll be in here with you in a while. I don't know how long you actually want to be on for.
Well, I intend to go to the gym at 8 o'clock, so sometime.
2 hours and 20 minutes or so?
Yeah. Let's see. This could be a little bit slower.
Trying to make this actually stick. It's being a jerk.
Oh, that is so awesome, Jason. I'm glad I'm able to inspire you guys. I have almost all of my bears put together. I have 13 of the 14 small ones put together, and I still have another 4 big guys that I have to assemble. I don't know how to stop stream, so maybe if I run out of things to sculpt, I will actually just grab a bear and start putting him together.
No, it's fine. If you run out of things to sculpt bigger things.
Okay. Oh, you should grab my Gorm.
I should. There you go.
There we go. That is the guy. If you scroll down on Demonican's page, you can see the chibi Gorm that his artist made for him. And going off of that rendition of the Gorm, because I couldn't find too many great pictures of Gorm for reference, I kind of went back and forth between them, and that's the sculpt that I came up with. So that is eventually going to be then cast in clear resin, hopefully. And we will be able to start working on a little Gorm dancer to go with the frog and the panda. So it's just a start. There are some things that I'm going to have to do to this Gorm to make it so that way he can cast it. All of the little toothpick teeth I am going to have to yank out, but that's okay because then they will have the holes where the teeth were, and I could put new toothpicks into the model after it's been done being cast and just continue to use toothpicks for the teeth. And his little lantern thing would pose a challenge too for casting that big loop. The only great way to do that would be to do a 2-part mold or to just not cast it. Since I intend to have his eyeballs and his little lantern doohickey light up, one, going to have it cast in clear resin so that way his eyeballs are easier to light up. And 2, just going to drill a hole through his head and run the wires to use the LED to sculpt. And with that wire structure, I will be able to sculpt a new lantern around it to light up. And so that's my plan. I'm hoping that it's going to work. I'm glad to hear you got your order, Jason. It's always good to hear that something has arrived with no problems. Crochet Gorm? Oh, that'd be awesome. It has been a little while since I've done this. I've never worked with green stuff before, so this is definitely new to me. Here we go. And for sculpting tools, and this is kind of how I just did the Gorm too, is I just grab whatever is the right shape and whatever's at hand, and I use that to push things together and start blending. I like to kind of shape it with my hands at first to get close to where I want to be.
Alright, here are a couple of the bigger monster ones.
Okay.
Yeah, if we can figure out the profile for those, we can actually get them laser cut.
This is a lot stickier than what I'm used to.
Yeah, it's pretty sticky.
Mm-hmm. It can roll a lot thinner, though. You can get a lot more detail out of this too, so.
I think that's why artists use it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think they use some sort of oil or something on their hands, though, when they sculpt it.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of makes sense. I'm just trying to make sure I have all the components when I return this razor thing. I haven't decided whether to keep the new webcam either.
Jason says that he got all of his Kingdom Death order today.
Nice. I only got one of mine. I'm missing a whole order. So that makes one of us.
Justin, with this green stuff, I might have to say that I gotta go back to my clay, because
Okay, well then we're gonna
texture I am not used to.
Well then we're gonna just have to do limited runs of bases because we'll only have so many.
Oh, we cast it once, and then that's the new master.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Makes sense.
Because the one thing with this, it's so... And you guys can kind of see as I'm starting to... Attempting to do a hand, but the fingers are so floppy and stretchy. This is a lot tougher to move and bend.
You can add it to this. Here, just add it to this tree and see what you can do.
Okay. Yeah, I will add to...
And what type of clay would you like?
Just grab the stuff that I have on my piano bench. I want the hard stuff specifically. Yeah, it won't even stay. It's so soft and floppy. Hard clay is much easier to work with for details. If it's too squishy, you'd make a little indentation into it and it just moves so far.
Here's the hard stuff.
There we go. The harder the clay is, it takes a lot of effort to pull it off and it kind of snaps, but you roll it and you push it and it holds the details so much better. This stuff, like, it might be good for adding on top of a hard piece like this. Is that
just, you know,
adding
the
detail?
gorm is center frame.
Okay. Switch around a little bit.
Yep.
So I didn't use too much green stuff starting off with experimenting, which is good at least. Not wasting a whole lot of Demonicans materials, but let me get with something I'm more familiar with.
Just a quick question. Do you have use for this webcam or should I still return it?
No, I don't have use for the webcam, not until I figure out if I want to stream or not.
Okay, because I was thinking to use the main camera I was using before, because this seems to be working out pretty well. Use the main camera as the one for my palette. So I'm gonna return this.
Okay.
I'm gonna return all of it apparently. So nice little refund, which is nice. Okay.
Justin, you might need more clay. Can you come up with more of this?
No, that's all. I can get more. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can just order more from Reynolds.
Okay. So I used a decent portion of it doing the gorm.
Okay. You don't want to mix it with the soft or anything?
Oh, I can. Go ahead and grab me the medium. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, you should be good. I'm just making sure that everything is looking right. Cool.
I just need to make sure that I look up and make sure that everything that I do is in frame. Otherwise, it would be rather boring.
Well, you seem pretty popular, Panda. I don't think I never get that much in chat. I'm pretty boring.
Well, it's talking about Kingdom Death Order, so that's very exciting. I'm sure that's more exciting than me. I just happen to be here. Let's see. Ronnie had some cool bases with faces sticking out of the ground. I might take some inspiration from what he's done then. I really like the really creepy faces. that are in Attack on Titan. So let me see if I can do like a scarier face poking out of the ground. Maybe do a hands later. But getting these faces kind of for a reference, I need to scale things down quite a bit. Desk is so cluttered. How does he do anything? There we go. Just trying to get a sense of how big I want to make this face. And starting with the eyeballs. That looks... one's a little bigger than the other. See if I can take out a little bit. Oh, that's still too big. Much nicer. We need to have a head to put those eyeballs into. That'd be about enough. Right now we have some pieces that are at our makerspace. They are testing the resin bath printer, which has an extremely high resolution of prints. So much so that we should be able to create miniatures or parts for miniatures. So we were fortunate enough to find a thing on Thingiverse that we are going to, or I have already given to them for a test run, so that way they can test it and see if it's high enough resolution for miniatures, and we might be able to get some really interesting pieces made by them. Now, if you guys are not familiar with the resin bath printing or 3D printing in general, 3D printing takes a lot of time. So although it can make some really great figures, some really great detail, very inexpensively, not as hands-on as what I am doing right now, it is not really feasible for mass production. So we are hoping some of those miniature parts that are created originally by the 3D printer, we will then be able to cast and produce more that way. I don't know where he put his little Duncan dwarf guy. There we go. So, his little... see if we can get him up here in focus, maybe? See, I'm not as good at this as he is. We are going to get little top hats for these guys. We're gonna go steampunk.
Yeah, the focus is kind of all over the place. I've still been trying to figure out how to do that, but right now it's just set to where it is.
Oh, yeah, that is indeed the little top hat that Demonican was talking about last night. So... the kind folks at the Makerspace said that they would let us experiment a little bit with their equipment, and so we're helping them out because we are giving them a model to print where they didn't have a concrete idea of what they would want to do on that scale, and they're helping us out by actually printing it, and have already said they may not even charge us for the time and the resin that it takes to complete that print. So we are going to have to see how that goes, but I am extremely optimistic, and I think that would be a lot of fun. And good fun for the future, too. I'm hoping that I can get good at Fusion 360 or some other 3D.
What was that?
Oh, it was your little multi-tool fell and hit the dwarf thing.
There. I wondered if there was enough space for you, Panda. I guess not.
You have so much clutter here! I don't know how there's space for you!
Alright. I'm gonna head out. I'll see you in a bit.
I'll see you.
Good luck.
Thanks. See if I can talk as much as Demonican can. I hear him talking to himself. I don't know if I can talk that much.
Yeah, that was the hardest part about getting started.
I have gotten better though. I hurt my voice a while back and it was very painful for a while. I couldn't talk more than an hour or two. And then it started to heal up and it started to come back again, and I was having a really hard time talking for any period of time, and I was so confused what was causing it, because it had been long enough. The initial injury should have healed, and talked to my doctor about it and realized that it was actually my asthma medicine. I had powder that I had to inhale from this little dispenser, and getting that into my lungs would help me to breathe better, but it would also aggravate the initial injury on my vocal cords and make it so I would lose my voice rather quickly, which is extremely unfortunate. So I don't talk too much to begin with, but to be limited even further was extremely frustrating. But they switched me to a liquid medication that does not aggravate my vocal cords, but still lets me breathe like a normal human being. And that was really good. And you guys hear me talking about the gym all the time, going to the gym. It's because I am terrible at breathing, and when I can make my body fit, then my lungs are fit. I used to be a decent level of fit in college. I wasn't going to be running any marathons or anything, but I was healthy. And then when I moved back home and got a desk job, which is a lot different than being on my feet all day with retail, I really let my fitness go to waste. And that's when I started having breathing problems again. So I am going to the gym to fix my breathing problems so I can actually exist like a normal human. That breathing problems I've experienced in the past, though, is a big reason why I have Demonican wearing a mask. It's because not being able to breathe sucks, and long-term exposure to paints can cause that. Nobody likes to have breathing problems. Yeah, I mean, I can breathe fine now, but I am on a lot of different medicines to make that happen, and I am not just going to sit back and let that be. That is not a normal state for things. And in my opinion, I wish that more people would realize that a pill for every ill really is not a long-term solution. guys see what I'm doing? Okay, maybe I should lift it up a little bit closer. Try and do that. Is that okay? Here we go. It's really. Oh, come on, go away. If you have tried drawing human figures before, it becomes very apparent that it's all just a bunch of shapes. A circle for the eyes, circle for the head, and you can draw lines to figure out exactly where those eyes line up, where the nose lines up. And going into a 3D medium, it's kind of the same thing. You just start with shapes and then you start adding to it. Start with a skull shape, push in the eyes. And you don't need anything super duper fancy to do it either. You just gotta play with it and start somewhere. I'm not the best sculptor in the world, but I can make shapes and that's kinda cool. Although it was fun to realize then with the Gorm, Justin was super duper surprised about that. He didn't know I could sculpt. Never had the opportunity to do so. All of my 3D stuff previously has been making replacement parts or doing prototypes for engineering, not super duper organic like some of the faces and sculptures can be, but same concept nonetheless. Art and engineering really are not that far apart. For me, going to the gym, it depends. There's a nice walking track, so I tend not to do the treadmill. I'd prefer to do the walking track, so it at least gives the illusion of travel, whereas with the treadmill, you're not really going anyplace. The only time when I do the treadmill is if I am looking to do an incline, which the walking track won't provide. And that's a better workout. I don't like to do the bike so much because the seats are so uncomfortable. I have a bicycle that as the weather gets nicer, I hope to just hop on the bike and ride around the neighborhood a little bit. I know I won't get too far to start, but it's more comfortable and again, I'm going someplace. But as far as the elliptical goes, the elliptical is an evil, evil machine. I hate doing the elliptical, so I do it a lot. Because I know it's working muscles that don't normally get a workout, thus it's so evil. And trying to avoid exerting myself is not the point of going to the gym. Trying to get these kind of even, but I'm not going to put a whole lot of emphasis on it. Couple reasons that symmetry is boring. That not most humans, all humans really, aren't symmetrical. And that's what makes this interesting. That, and this is meant to be a monster piece of terrain. So why make it look all pretty and symmetrical? You guys need to let me know when I'm getting off camera because I'm not used to this. Let's see if I can hold it. Is that better? Yeah. There we go. His other little... Oh, this is nice. So this is a Games Workshop basing tool, and the tip has a little bit of flex to it, and that is absolutely lovely for smoothing. I didn't have that when I was doing the Gorm, so I might go back over it with this. This is nice. So you don't want it to press too hard. Make indentations, you just want to smooth it out. Definitely have one eye bigger than the other. Definitely don't care. I think it looks kind of neat. Kind of check and see. And honestly, it has been so long since I've exercised these muscles because, like I said, mostly use sculpture for prototyping and engineering parts. I'm just happy that I can still do this. And I know that I will get better with time and practice. Some cheekbones going there. And what I'm using is just, I think I showed it before, it's a Sculpting modeling clay. But I just like it because it is, like I said, extremely hard, holds the detail really well, and it won't dry out on me. So the Gorm that I was working on the other day, it actually is still workable. So I can continue to make changes and smooth it out a little bit more before we actually do the casting, but it's hard enough that when we do the resin casting, it will hold its shape, and I don't have to worry about something changing when it gets poured on top of it, which the Sculpey is super duper flexible. If I had a thin little piece and you poured a liquid on top of it, you could just see it all flopping down, all getting messed up. Doesn't hold its shape really well. And then when we're done with the silicone casting, we can take apart the clay, take all the toothpicks and stuff that I have stuck in there out, and use it again for something else. And just use the first cast as a master. You don't have to worry about curing this or anything like that. Just use it again. This clay happens to be oil-based, part of the reason why it won't dry out so quickly. You have a lot of work time and can come back to it and fiddle with it, but it also means you can't use water or liquid to thin it down, smooth it out like a normal clay. So that's the advantage of using like pottery clay. I liked being able to use the liquid to smooth it out nice and easy. Here you just gotta take your time. But as I get these little bits of clay that are kind of building up around the eyes, another thing that I can do is I can just take a brush and start to brush it away, and it'll help to smooth things out too. Definitely don't have the same skill set that Demonican has, but I can help out in certain little ways. I hope these will cast well and that he can use them for bases. Hello! I don't know what that noise was, but thank you, I guess. That's a good noise, I think. There we go, have a face starting to appear. I always like to start with the eyes. I feel like that's kind of where a lot of the scale comes from. From the eyes you can kind of tell how big you want the head to be, the rest of the face to be. Make sure it'll actually fit on a creature base. Now this is very, very thick, but it makes it much easier to handle, to sculpt, to move around, to actually get the dimension of the face. I will probably come back with a knife and slice it so it's really thin, and then it would be easier to mount to a base, to mount a creature on top of it like some conquered statue. The trick of it is trying to get even pieces of clay. Usually what I like to do is make a snake and then just break it in about half, and that usually will get you pretty close if you rolled a uniform snake. We'll see here. There we go. Got the start of something there. simple shapes. Got the nose, so the tip of the nose is like an elongated teardrop. So I start with the ball and just start smoothing it onto the face. Just making sure that I start to move it up into where the brow ridges are, so it looks like all one nice continuous piece. And depending upon what kind of face that you want, you can have that be very pronounced bridge or very small bridge like this one. Just blending it all in. And then for the nostrils, it's another little ball of clay on either side of the nose. And you can choose how much you want to have those blended in or not. Because all kinds of people have all kinds of different noses. So unless you're trying to sculpt a specific person, as long as it looks like your nose, you're good. I don't know if you guys can hear the little panda and the little frog going back and forth. Has this very soft little click as they're going side to side, and it almost sounds like a clock, and it is very relaxing. One of my goals, something that I have on the bucket list, is to actually make a true analog clock. All kinds of gears, and just goes off of the weight and weights with a pendulum and everything, and I think that would be a fun thing to try and calculate and a fun thing to try and make. Not in this time right now, so I have other things I gotta be working on. But eventually, on my maker's bucket list, I have a whole list of different projects that I'd love to do. But topping the list right now is taking care of Demonican and taking care of my house. No, where those both coincide is finishing the basement, so that way we can get a lot more workspace. Do I like that? Yeah. Ah, that looks like there's a really sharp little transition there, so I think I'm going to add a little bit more clay and build up the nose a little bit more. Why am I making the gorm? Because I think we need a dancing gorm head. Right now I'm just making a face that's going to come out of the ground as terrain. Yeah, the gorm will eventually be. Put its little lantern back on. I knocked it off earlier. I think that would be a nice, fun, little creepy thing to have that head bobbing back and forth. With glowing eyes and a little glowing lantern and its nice little pointy teeth. And of course, painted up by Demonican. to look really, really creepy. A fun little project. There we go. A little bit more pronounced there. I like that. Smooth it out. Personally, I don't like pinching the clay too much, like pinching it up to make shapes, unless you're looking for that kind of sharp ridge. It just looks weird, and it does just look like it's being pinched. So if I need to have a little bit more of a raised shape, a raised area, I would much rather just add some more clay and smooth it in, and you get a much gentler curve. Add a little bit more to the eyebrow ridge. Pushing it down and just blending it in. Hello, Trojan Donkey! Demonican is out running errands, and he was not going to stream today. So, he suggested I take this on, give it a try. I cannot paint like Demonican can, but he cannot sculpt like I can. So, I am just, right now, trying to make some interesting faces, maybe hands later. I'll see if I can get them that tiny for casting and adding to Kingdom Death bases. And if you have any requests as I'm getting this done, please let me know, because I am game to try just about everything. As long as it's appropriate, please, family-friendly guys. But yeah, I'm up to give stuff a go. Because that's what we all do anyway. We kind of seem to make things up as we go. We all just pretend like we know what we're doing. At least that's what I think. Otherwise, why would so many people have that imposter syndrome thing going on? There we go. That's a nice little creepy face we have going on. Have to get a nice creepy little mouth to go with it too, huh? One of the things that really interests me with Attack on Titan, the big Titan faces, is their teeth just seem so huge, larger than life. Their mouths are ginormous. And I think it would be fun to do a creepy grin with those big teeth. So let's see if I can make a bunch of little teeth that I can put in, and then we can start building the lips on top of it. And for right now, what I am using to make these little balls, you can kind of tell it's the clear plastic lid to a container of green stuff. I was trying to use the green stuff before, but it was... yeah, it's meant to be kind of a caricature. I won't pretend to know how to sculpt realistically, but I can make something that looks like a face and doesn't look like a 3-year-old made a face, so that's a start. But when you're a little kid and learning how to make snakes and things out of Play-Doh, making a ball or making a snake, you are actually rolling your palms together, rolling it between two flat surfaces, flat planes. Then if you wanted to make a big flat pancake, what you do is you take something round and use it like a rolling pin and get that nice and rolled out flat. But with this fine detail and these little bits, it's hard to get nice little balls just rolling it between your palms or rolling it between your fingers. So what you do is you just get close and you use something like this. Just a clear tray, because then you can see where you need to roll stuff. And that works extremely well for making itty bitty little balls. Oh, this is more along the lines of what I want, that itty bitty little thing. Get a bunch of these guys going. Start to get them a little bit better organized here. Kind of going up in size. Yeah, that's a big one. See if I can split this guy off. Now, let's see where we're at. It can be tough to get into the little cracks and crevices with a tool. Trying to sculpt individual teeth or carve it out of the clay. But since this is an additive medium, You just have to remember you could do it the other way around. That you can take the little pieces and then build on top of it, and where they don't quite join together, that's where you don't have to carve out anymore. There we go. Starting to get some more definition on that. Start to form here and figure out how I want to do that upper lip. So sticky. That didn't work as well as I had hoped. Try this again then, just in my hands, see if I can get it about the thickness that I want. Teeth moving, there we go. I am sculpting some creepy faces, or a creepy face, to be used as, to be cast and then used as basing decorations. So this guy, the head is pretty thick right now, but I will later cut it thinner so it'll be easier to cast and just put onto a Kingdom Death base, have a face sticking out of the ground just as a terrain piece. And then this guy here that I sculpted before, that is my take on the Chibi Gorm. That is down lower on Demonican's page if you scroll down. And that piece I intend to have cast in clear resin, and to be able to use that to make a dancing Gorm, so there's actually a Kingdom Death themed dancer instead of just a random panda and frog. And also, if you guys have any ideas, Demonican suggested columns and hands sticking out of the ground, slain monsters, but I'm not quite sure what that would look like. So I'm not 100% familiar with the monsters in Kingdom Death. As other pieces for terrain, so if you guys have any suggestions for once I get this done, things that you want me to attempt to sculpt for basing materials or would like to see, just go ahead and let me know. I don't know if there's a dead monster tile. If you guys could send me pictures, I could see what I could do. Starting to come together a little bit more and more all the time. starting to get that creepy grinning face. This is looking good. Almost starting to look like the Joker over here. Build up that jaw a little bit more. Attack on Titan, I think that's a thing that's probably the creepiest. It's just the childlike nature of the Titans. They just look like toddlers running around and trying to grab Cheetos off the floor or something. The way that they're always smiling. Always have that just creepy look. Makes you wonder about their mental capacity or sanity. Too much time because this is a terrain piece and will be painted as such. Nothing super duper spectacular. Although I think it would be kind of interesting, kind of neat looking to have it painted all as stone except for the eyeballs, maybe the teeth. Just the eyeballs. Have those painted hyper realistic just to be really, really creepy. Let's see if I can find a proper knife. This would be horrible to try and sculpt, in my opinion, as just a flat piece. But by adding that backing, it gives me something to press into a little bit more. Creating it. See all this extra clay, almost as much as the face itself, but I could not create that face without that backing. Now I have this little detailed piece that is much thinner than the original. I'll probably pull even more of this away, and that will be much easier to cast, being a flat surface and a thinner base, so it won't use as much resin, but keeps all of the important detail parts. There we go. That will make an interesting little piece. All right. Which mouse? Okay, so the mouse goes to this computer, but he has chat and search up on the other computer. But the mouse for that is right here, I think. I hope, maybe. So that way, Let me see if I can find the dead monster tile. See kind of what that looks like. What have we got here? Oh, is it really just... I see. Maybe. You guys gotta help me out with this one. Where'd my mouse go on this thing? Ah. Ronnie's Etsy page. That's a good idea. So I'm getting stuff on rules for the dead monster tile, but that's not helping me any. Does anybody happen to have a link for Ronnie? Let's see here. Oh, I think I got it. Yep, that's it. Let's see. 2 large stone faces, toppled pillars, 6 pillars, 4 grass, 8 small faces, 2 orph spaces, 1 dead creature, 1 dead bug. That must be the dead creature in the bottom right hand side, but I'm not quite sure what to make for that. Let me just see what I can come up with. Oh, let's see what... Oh, Jason, you're perfect. Okay. Yeah, since Ronnie did that in 3D, I don't think I can get to that level of detail that small. Thingiverse is great for the previews, and having such a great repository of 3D shapes, Thingiverse is a really nice, fun thing to have. I enjoy it. I've actually submitted one of my laser designs to Thingiverse through a different organization, so that way they could use it too. I don't know what I said. I'm worried now. It wasn't bad, was it? Yeah, for the 3D printing stuff, doing that organic modeling, that is not something that I am good at. I have tried a little bit, but truly I still approach 3D software as an engineer. I can't get that bit of abstractness into the 3D stuff. Oh, replacement parts, mechanical parts, all over it. I actually have a drafting table in my office. I still do drafting by hand whenever I get the chance. I have a drafting table in my office that was broken when Demonican moved to Nebraska to be here. And he said if I could fix it, I could have it. And it was one plastic piece that snapped. I grabbed its mate, modeled it in about an hour, sent it to print, and had a replacement and a working drafting table. Yeah, it's with the Creative Commons license. That's where things start getting really, really gray with 3D printing, and I can understand it. That artists create things and give it to the public to be used in a way that's just meant for personal enjoyment, not necessarily personal gain. And I feel for them. I put things out there and hope that people won't sell the hard work that I've created, that they'll just use it for their personal joy learning. But if they start selling it, there isn't a whole lot that I am equipped to do to stop them either. So, such is life. Just kinda gotta work through it. Ronnie actually was kind enough to share his key to Fusion 360 and apparently was working quite hard on the modeling, so I should hope that he was the one who actually created it. This creature is too round. I've got to flatten him out, thin him out. It's Kingdom Death. He can't look too healthy. He's dead after all. He wasn't a very successful monster. Thank you to whoever that was that followed, subscribed. I'm not quite sure what it is. I'm sorry, I'm just taking Demonican's place today. And I don't know how to use Twitch, so I can't tell what that was. You'll have to forgive me, but thank you. He should be on tomorrow, back at it. And he actually should be on later because he needs to announce the Patreon reward giveaway, and he actually grabbed his top hat to draw a name. So that's very exciting. As long as it's with permission. I like to err on the side of caution with the Creative Commons stuff. No, he didn't record it. He will be back on later. Currently, he is out and about running errands. I was going to have him grab me some more clay, hopefully. And he needed to return some... It's getting a little cold. I've been so focused, I haven't been paying attention to my tea. He needed to return some stuff that he thought he needed for streaming, but ended up not working for streaming, and getting some clay for me, and just doing little errands stuff. And then he will be back and pull out the top hat, and he was going to announce it live. At least that's what I understand his plan to be. But I plan like an engineer, he plans like an artist, so I don't pretend to know his plans at all. Trying to get a little tail. Get a little pointy. There we go. Okay. What I'd really like to do too is get some design going on the computer, because designing for the laser cutter is something that I do fairly frequently, and I can certainly do much faster. So you guys would be able to see some progress much easier, much sooner. And I've been designing for the laser cutter for, oh goodness gracious, 4 or 5 years now? Much faster for that. And could come up with some interesting designs. I am hoping to come up with some interesting designs, because there's all kinds of fun little counters in the Kingdom Death game set, and they are all this beautiful artwork, don't get me wrong, but they're all cardboard. And if you really want to have a nice game collector set, I think it needs to be made out of a little bit more durable material, something lasting. But that is my opinion. But I'm probably going to act on that and see about creating some wood counters, or maybe doing some engraving on some glass tiles for Kingdom Death counters. And I think that would look pretty neat. doesn't want to work. Come on. Itty bitty pieces of clay. Now, doing the little sculptures, I always really enjoyed making figures out of clay and then firing them, seeing the finished product. My little sister, however, would actually throw pottery on a wheel, and that is magic to me. Even as regimented as I am as an engineer, I don't have a sense of symmetry, and she does. And so her being able to make that beautiful pottery and actually stay on center and keep it going, not make it look all wonky, that I thought was pretty cool. But now that she's graduated college, she doesn't have access to a pottery wheel any longer. It wasn't her major for art. Counters are something that I can do, and I hope to maybe break into this a little bit with counters. So maybe on Friday, depending upon when I get off of work, I can do the same thing, hijack, but actually get the 3D design software installed on his streaming computer and be able to do the design work, and you guys can see how that process kind of works all digitally. But the cool thing too is I actually have the driver software for the laser installed on my personal machine, and so I can show you guys kind of a preview and run a simulation to show about how long it would take. And the preview's black and white, like you aren't going to see the material as it goes in the machine, but I am also working with Demonican to refine some of the time lapses that I did for engraving on marble, and maybe add some additional clips for how I engraved, and kind of show how that all works together. I hope my sentences are making sense. Apparently I can't work and talk at the same time very well, not with this process, but we'll see. Spindly little creature legs. Just kind of figured out. Looks alright. I don't know about Revlo right now for rewards. That's up to Demonican. I think he's still pondering what Revlo rewards would be for this coming month. Oh, I hear movement.
Hello.
Hello.
Still bringing stuff in, but how are you doing? That's decidedly creepy.
Was going off of Attack on Titan, their creepy smiling faces.
Yeah, that's horrifying.
And then
What's that?
a dead monster.
What kind of monster?
I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm just making it. It's a monster. What does it matter? This is its rear legs. I'm working on its front legs.
Okay. Cool. Apparently things are going well. What did I miss?
They said that the dead monster token is one thing that I should put in as a train piece, and that's thusly I'm working on this.
Okay.
And they showed me kind of a picture of what Ronnie did. Jason found it on Thingiverse,
Oh, okay.
so I could get a better view.
Cool. So you're able to access the computers and whatnot?
Kind of. I mean, this one would be fine, except I don't know how to use the stream, and so I don't want to touch anything. And this one would be fine, except it's a Mac.
I love how everybody hates on Macs until they use them. You are one of those people, Panda.
It's just annoying. I mean, it has some good things. I want this iMovie because that's actually pretty awesome.
Anyway. I'm bringing stuff in. I'll see you in a minute and I'll hang out with you. What?
Jason, except it's a Mac. I laugh.
Thanks.
Oh, there it goes again.
Yep. Karma.
Oh, I've dropped the face first also.
No wonder the nose looks squished.
Thanks. You sculpt a face. I'd like to see what you sculpt.
Okay. I'll let you do that sometime soon then.
Pride's saying that doing the Kingdom Death tokens would be a cool reward.
Ooh. Yeah, the bases aren't up this month anymore, so whoever bought bases last month, you're lucky. Because you're the only ones that are going to have any for a while. I have to make them. I'm actually waiting for, I was an idiot when I poured resin today. I poured some of the clear resin into the molds for the bases, not thinking that I needed to make a bunch of bases. So I kicked myself this morning. It's like, dang it, why did I do that? So I have to wait for that to cure, and then I can start pouring the white resin.
Okay.
But I'll be back. We'll hang out.
We should have a face-off. See who can make the
Oh,
best
who
face.
can make the base? Okay. We should.
Okay. We could get a couple of the cameras, maybe going side by side.
I have a request for you though.
What's that?
For next week. Can you figure out that webcam?
The
The wireless one? Because that would actually be really cool for my palette. Problem I have now is because this is here, it looks good, but it can only focus on one point at a time. So I want the main camera to focus on what I'm actually painting. And then the problem is I've had this camera, this one here, focused on the palette, but like right above it. So that doesn't work if this is here. Does it see what I mean? Like they conflict with each other. Like the little one will be in the way of the big one.
Okay.
So having that other webcam like on a platform or something, looking down from this side would be perfect.
I'll have to see if I can figure it out.
Cool. It's okay. You're a wizard. You can do it. I heard the sigh.
Yes.
Oh, bring stuff in.
Let's see. How do I want to do this so that way it can be cast? I'll come back to that later. Let me get into the neck and start to figure out. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's coming along okay. It looks like a creature of some sort. was a little kid, I was always making something. And, you know, given what kids have access to for making, it was art stuff, because there's pipe cleaners and markers and paper and glue and glitter and whatever else. And so I was always making art of some kind, and that area that I had to myself, that was my art area. And I thought for the longest time I was going to grow up and I was going to be an artist, until I figured out that I was good at math and I wanted to do that too. And then my dad started showing me how to do formulas in Excel and taught me algebra that way. Started showing me how to do electronics with little kits that you could buy at the time. No microcontrollers, but you could still create a lot. And slowly but surely I figured out that art and engineering both require a lot of creativity. And so at the local makerspace, I always make sure that I set aside some time each week that I volunteer there. And I try and come up with projects that people can make and to teach. Because art and engineering really aren't all that different. I think both disciplines can benefit from learning from each other. You guys should ask me questions or something. I have no idea what to talk about. I'm not good at rambling like he is. Ask me trivia questions. I don't know. I used to do Quiz Bowl. Well, don't ask me stuff that I don't know. Maybe I won't know it, but maybe I can look it up. I don't know. I clearly don't know much. That other leg just doesn't want to stick. That's, like I said, the one good thing about water-based clay is you can use water to wet it down and join it, and it becomes really sticky. It loves to stick really well. With this kind of oil-based clay, you just gotta blend it and hope for the best. Well, the makerspace in our area is Do Space. And usually looking for makerspaces, yeah, I have tried Sculpting. But it's not as hard for working, not as stiff. And I found that modeling clay I just prefer, especially since I very rarely cure anything. In terms of looking for makerspaces, just Googling makerspaces plus your area is usually a good bet, or looking in the local city centers, and maybe even just looking around to see if you can find any local groups that like to make something in general. That even in our little place in Rapid City, you could find groups of people who enjoyed welding, and they had their own little group of people who would get together and make frames for go-karts, make trellises for people's gardens, make all kinds of different things. So you might not be able to find a space specific to your area, but you can pretty much find a niche group where you can start, whether it's woodworking, sculpting, sewing, and I think that's a good way to go. See if I can get this neck at a really weird angle. Who's the goal? He's supposed to be dead, so broken neck. I like to start with, or I kind of did start, especially when I was in college and didn't have a whole lot of space to work. I did a lot of sewing because the fabric you can just kind of all toss in a box and it will melt in and fit together, and sewing doesn't take up a whole lot of space. But woodworking is a good place to go, way to go to start with making, because the tools are so widely available, especially because it's so applicable to just home repair and life in general. And even if you don't have those resources at your disposal, find a person who likes to do what you want to do and see if you can apprentice. A lot of the tools that I have acquired is from old hands who would do a lot of woodworking, and so they would show me how their shop worked, and a couple of them, when they got too ill to work, gave me tools. Now, don't go befriending old people, ill people to try and get their tools, but find somebody experienced and learn from them. My grandmother on my father's side would cook all the time and grow things all the time. Growing up on a farm, she just had to make things work, and so she always grew up making food just from the raw ingredients, and you learn a lot about cooking doing that. And she also had to do repairs on clothing and would often recycle clothing to make quilts and things. And so I learned a lot of sewing skills from her. So looking to your family for a place to start making. Yeah. Old engineers are fantastic. I love talking with old engineers, and you learn all kinds of things. And it turns out that I am at a lucky point in my engineering training where I was taught to draft by hand, and I was also taught to draft using AutoCAD for modeling parts. And computer drafting and old school hand, like true draftsman's drafting, are similar but very different beasts. By drafting by hand, you become very aware of the reason behind each line in your drawing. Every line is extremely deliberate and represents something. But working with experienced engineers who began with drafting, and them seeing new engineers moving into the field, new engineers weren't aware of why lines might be placed in a drawing. And so they would have a radius for a circle appear, the mark would appear off center. They wouldn't have, they would have a solid line instead of a dotted line, which, if you guys know drafting at all, it just completely changes the shape. Silly little mistakes, because they would understand the software and be a whiz with it really fast, but the problem is they would be really fast and not understand the deliberateness that goes into it. I don't think I'm speaking English very well right now, I'm sorry. Really just getting into a space where people make and know more things than you. You'd be surprised how generous people are with teaching skills and sharing their experiences, because, I mean, we are social creatures when it boils right down to it. It might be a normally very solo activity, but everybody wants to share what they love. Everybody wants to help educate the next generation. You just have to look around and ask and listen. Makerspaces are a hub for that to happen, but you don't have to have a makerspace in your area to be able to do it. Or just work with your local library and see about creating a space. As many libraries have more items at your disposal than just books. My hometown library had electrical equipment and a number of tools that you could check out in addition to books. A tool library. And different groups would meet there. I mean, just go where the people are and ask. Yeah. Thank you for color. They knew the how, but not the why. Oh, I don't want the jaw to come off. Stay, please. Blend. See if I can press this into the base, make the base work for me a little bit. See, that's the thing with these tiny little pieces. If you don't have something to press them into, they just really like to break off. That's looking a lot better, and that's why I started with a big lump of clay for the face, too. But this is a little tougher because I know it's got to fit in a certain area. Alright, what little tools did I grab here?
What's going in here?
I think it's going alright. I have my little wolf dinosaur weird creature. I don't think we're gonna use this. It's looking really silly.
If you can make it look like it's half decomposed, it would actually be really cool.
Alright.
So the skull you've got going and like the rib cage, you know, make some entrails coming out.
Yep. And
You make it look like that, that's perfect.
Alright. That I can do. Where did I learn to sculpt? Elementary school, middle school, just taking art classes in school.
Oh, you got a lot of regulars in here. That's nice.
Yeah. I appreciate you guys watching, because I know this isn't the normal thing for this stream. But you guys still are earning lanterns, so.
Yep, and I will do another giveaway. I just don't know what it'll be yet, so.
So what else have you got going on?
What, me?
Yeah.
Right now I just need to tidy up in here, and I may actually prime some models next to you.
Okay.
Or something, because, yeah. Today I have to, ooh, yeah, dang it. Darn it. do here? I'm not even good at it. Nope. I goofed. That's what I did. That's what I'm doing. Goofing.
No, not really all natural talent, Jabberwock, but I appreciate that. I did a lot of drawing in school, and in my mind, drawing and sculpture aren't that far separated. I did a lot of work with my hands, still do a lot of work with my hands in the garage, just making things like furniture and shelves, and gives you a sense of space in 3D. And between those two things, I think that's where this emerges. Is drawing gives you the sense of anatomy, the sense of, I don't know, what a creature could be. Then you just combine the drawing, put it in, add in an extra dimension, give it some space. That's how it works out in my head. And really, it's a lot of just not being afraid to try, and just hazard through and figure something out. Alright, let's see about them entrails. Yeah, seeing the first couple models that Demonican painted years and years ago compared to his work now, there's been a bunch of growth, and it's just something that happens over time and practice. So I know what I'm doing right now isn't the best that a person can do. After all, those Kingdom Death figures are extremely beautiful, extremely tiny, and there are artists that green stuff modifications onto them that are equally beautiful and tiny. And that's not something that I have the capacity for right now. But by making some of this larger stuff and just seeing how the clay works and how the shape works and kind of building that skill, building that part of my brain, that's something that might happen eventually. And really, you just don't know until you give it a go. And for this kind of stuff, it's a really low barrier to entry. I mean, it's a brick of clay. It's 1 pound of clay that I've been playing with between the gorm, the face, you know, this thing here. Not very expensive. And these tools, I've got a paintbrush, I've got an X-Acto knife, safety pin, just whatever is lying around the desk right now, a little flathead screwdriver. You don't need a whole lot of tools. It's just something smaller than your hands, different shapes that you can use to try and add to it. Let me see if I can get a really long skinny snake. And that'll be what I use for the entrails. I think that'll be better than the little pieces I was trying to do. There we go. That's a lot more even than I would be able to do with just my hands. Oh yeah, that's much better. that looks pretty good. Like some messy entrails there. So that's a start. But really, I should have some coming out of his gut. Let me slice him open. See if I can make some stuff pouring out. A little bit of dissection going on. And that's another thing too. My mom is a nurse and therefore had all kinds of nursing books lying around the house. So nurses constantly have to work on their training, continually staying up to date. And in those books there are some awesome illustrations for anatomy. Looking at anatomical illustrations is a great way to start with drawing or sculpting or just creating live creatures in some form or another, seeing what's underneath and how it all ticks. What?
I'm missing a part for a thing. See the two bombs on the wings? There's one missing.
Oh, that's not nice.
No. Found it. Aha. Crisis averted.
Here we go. How are those for entrails?
Awesome, actually. A lot of it too is how people are going to be able to paint it more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, this is just a base. One step and many steps. One thing I am taking into consideration too is how this is going to cast. I don't want to have anything looping out or sticking out that would require a two-part mold. That would be more difficult to cast than it's worth in this case.
I appreciate that.
And so with this front leg chopped off, that is part of the reason for it. The other part being I can't sculpt 100%. I can do a little bit, but not everything. Let me see if I can get maybe some little hooves onto this guy. So if I'm not mistaken, a dead, like, antelope creature would be thematically appropriate. And that arm there, I'm gonna have to sculpt a little piece and see if I can set down off to the side. Survivors stand on the dead monster?
Yeah, that would be fine. Base is a little big, but you can use it as a token too. I mean, it's not hard.
Well, that's what Charles Fox is saying. Something else to consider with the dead monster is that survivors stand on it.
That's perfect, actually.
So, if I had a survivor base, how would that go?
Oh, I see. So, like, you make it really big and then have them have slots, I guess?
Yeah, it looks like... trying to figure that out. So it looks like it would be able to almost stand on the body here. I'd have to press it down a little bit, see if I can get that. Yeah. So that's a little bit flatter. So it might be able to balance there, but if the thing isn't completely balanced, that's not going to work. For a 2-point line, yes, but not a plane. So I should see if I can get a different thing. over to the corner, over to one side maybe, that would be good to help the base balance. That maybe if I get probably gonna add some rubble is what I'll do, and I'll try and add a piece of rubble here. That would be the same height as the creature, and then the base would be able to just stand right on top of it. That would be good. The dead monster tile is 2 inch by 2 inch. Let's see how I am. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Charles, thank you for the help. I truly appreciate that. Because until Demonican shows me the rules and gets some figures painted so we can start playing and maybe streaming it, I am just a bystander. Trying to participate, but not really knowing what I'm doing. And by the way, hello Ronnie. Ah. Thank you so much for the feedback. What units is Kingdom Death in then? That'll be interesting. So another thing, I have been tasked with perhaps creating a playmat of some sort, which I haven't figured out if that's going to be done on the laser, if that's something that's going to be done with fabric, because I can sew. And do different embroidery and textile work. That's one thing that that my grandma taught me when I was young, along with cooking. 32 millimeter by, thanks guys. Ronnie, definitely appreciate the help. Demonican saw what you were doing, thought it was cool, and said, hey, I should do that. That is cool. And then he saw me sculpt the Gorm, and it's like, hey, that's cool. Panda should do that. Except I can't sculpt that cool.
I don't know, you're pretty cool. How many times
No, I'm a nerd.
I think we need to say cool like 10 more times.
Cool, cool, cool.
Yep.
I think you need to get me a thesaurus, that's what I think.
I think those are extinct. What? This isn't Jurassic Park.
You're horrible.
It means no longer living.
I'm going to shoot you.
Like they lived before, but not anymore. Yeah, you know. You make it too easy, Panda.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah.
I think she was having a better stream when I wasn't here. using the little sculpting tool? The soft one? This one.
Yes, I've been using that a lot.
I'm going to borrow it and return it.
Okay. Get some little torn flesh for his leg there. All ripped up.
That's what we need. Yeah, if we can do enough of these, and that's really contingent upon you, then I'll cast him and we'll put him on the Etsy store.
I don't know. Ronnie has his in so much more detail. I don't think will be any competition.
So, then that means that people will buy from Ronnie instead of us. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I'm not trying to compete with the guy. He does a good job, so. This should be awesome. I'm psyched.
For your dwarves, your sky dwarves.
No, for the base I'm making right this second. I needed a sci-fi base for one of the King of Death minis.
Okay.
So I grabbed a piece from Warhammer that's like this bit of deck plating with a broken pipe. And I'm going to surround it in this terrain. And then I'm going to pour that transparent green sludge.
Is that the size of the pipes for
Yeah.
the terrain? We need to get some coffee straws.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
The new guys beat you now?
Who beat who? What?
Ronnie?
What? I don't understand.
But 100's still for his, and yours is 80, but his comes with things you don't need. Yeah. See, I think it's better to keep it simple and to the point.
Well, that's the thing, is if it's flashy, then people like flashy. Yeah. We'll see. Well, we could swoop in and make them really nice. That would take time, and I don't want to have to figure out how to digitally make anything. To make it really, really nice, we'd have to use that new resin bath printer. And we'd have to figure out digital sculpting.
Yeah, which I've already established. I do not know how to do digital sculpting.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Just all the projects I want to do and all the things where I want to go with things. It's just, yeah, you really have to.
Now, we do have access at the makerspace to a 3D camera. A 3D scanner, I should say.
Yeah, that's the thing. Just the amount of detail is still better.
Yeah, but if you make it at a large enough scale, because they can capture like a human head.
That'd be cool. Having my head on a miniature.
You know what? That is actually a thing that a lot of people at Do Space were doing. That a guy had his head 3D scanned and then had it printed and put it in his model airplane so he could pilot the airplane.
That's cool.
But with your big beard, I think it would be funny if you could lead the dwarves.
If I could be the commander?
Yes.
Should I be the guy with the mustache guns?
I think that would be cool.
I looked at the sprue, and his head with that top hat and the guns is separate. So I totally could.
Yeah, let's see how the resin bath printer does with the little top hats. I kind of want to nag Robert to see how that's going, but I know better. Nagging him isn't going to make him move any faster, and that's okay. He is doing us a big favor, so I won't question it.
Yeah, I get 40 free top hats, so we're good.
Oh, Charles Fox has an idea. Work with Ronnie. He makes a train, You paint it and sell it for double the price.
I'm good with that. Like I said, Ronnie, send me some and I'll paint it on stream. Like, and I'll link your thing if people ask. Like, I'll put it, and when I publish a YouTube video, I'll put a link to your Etsy store in the video for sure. I think Ronnie's just too busy with orders. That's all. Besides, I haven't finished his Flower Witch minis, so I think that's kind of a give and take there.
Yeah, you two are gonna have to work that out.
Dang it! I keep putting that back over there like an idiot. I think so. No. Okay. I'm trying to make this base nice, and it's just not working out. Problem is this base here is going to be one of a kind because I can't cast it. Cool. Just gonna let that dry. Probably gonna have to just put some sort of clear coat on it, some thick clear coat to give it some structure. Because I don't know if it'll dry hard enough. There we go. Sorry, should take it back. Crap.
What?
That's okay. I squished my thing, but now it's fine.
Okay.
I goofed, but not goofed as hard as I thought I goofed. It was a soft goof.
Yeah, Ronnie, I know Demonican feels the pain of getting so many orders that all of the commission work that he's still doing. A good friend of ours commissioned him a long time ago and he's still working on it. Every time you think you can breathe, something happens.
Well, Ben is gonna be fine. I'll get him a new copy of the new edition, and this way he doesn't have to learn the game right away and then learn it again. So.
You know, as soon as you finish it, he's going to ask you to do one for his new
Oh, for yeah, I know.
his new girlfriend. That's probably the way that'll go.
And then I can say no, because that's what's gonna happen. Can I borrow that for a second? Thank you. Oh, you're using mine because it's dull?
Yep. Because I'm cutting clay, not a sharp thing, or not a hard thing. If it was cutting a hard thing, I would use a sharp thing, because then I would actually know how to control the blade and it wouldn't jerk and slip and have to be forced. You need to use
No.
sharp knives.
No. I refuse. I'm gonna grab that last base from you too.
You aren't gonna need the one that I'm working on, will you?
No. You should be in the clear.
Okay. That's focusing a little bit better then.
What, the camera?
Yeah, when I actually put it up close.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's the autofocus is on, but it's the way it focuses is a little weird. The new camera, whatever that is, has an insane autofocus. But that's $2,000, and I don't have $2,000. I want to run with this one for as long as humanly possible. And then I can get another one.
I can get it there. There we go. Yeah, that's kind of the idea, Jabberwock. I wanted it to look a little strange, like some other creature. Definitely wanted it to look like some kind of hooved creature. So I'm glad that's getting across. But yeah, the head, I lost it. I didn't know quite what to do with. But I kind of like that it's a raptor, this weird skull. I think that could lend itself to some creativity when it comes time to actually paint the thing. This dead carcass. But I'll leave that more up to Demonican. A dead Cerberus? Three-headed?
Oh, that'd be cool.
That's an idea. I have the space for it.
Sorry, quick question for everybody, and I don't know if everybody's actually paying attention, but does anyone want to buy either a white lion or a screaming antelope and trade me their actual unpainted one so I can paint it on stream?
Well, why don't we check and see? Can we get... You have them, I assume?
Yeah, I have the white lion and I have the screaming antelope. I actually have a manhunter as well.
Well, why don't you grab them quick and we can show them off on camera?
Because
See
I'd
if
like to
anybody's...
actually paint them again and have the video, so... And a king. Like, there are a lot of them here. And 4 starting survivors as well, if anybody wants me to, if anybody's okay doing that. I just don't want to lose the models.
Oh, Jason says both of his are painted.
Yeah, I know, that's my problem, is I want to paint them on stream, but... Because I painted these were painted before the,
Same with Ronnie.
I know, you guys! Yeah, the white lion's awesome, but I want to...
Oh.
I want to
Get
paint...
him really up there and maybe it'll focus.
There it goes, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, I wanted to, I gotta fill the gap at the top, as before, but it's really nice. But I don't want to lose the miniature, so. The only one you have to worry about is the other one.
Alright.
That's kind of resembling what you're building right now.
That's kind of the idea. See if I can...
There it goes. Like, it has to have a majority of what's there. Panda.
Focus. I don't know how you do it.
There you go.
Yeah, clearly he knows his camera much better than me.
And these are on those bases that that I'm making for you guys. So, yeah, I know, Ronnie. I will take you up on that as well. But if anybody if anybody has any of them, then I'd love that. I'll give you a pretty good deal on the paint job too, just so I can paint one on stream. But I'm about to list the Gold Smoke Knight and the Storm Knight on Etsy, Ronnie. If they sell, don't worry about it, because I might be able to find another Storm Knight. So.
Hmm?
The thing died.
What thing died?
One of the miniatures lost her sword.
Oh.
Pity. Oh well, it happens.
Alright, got another little net going on, and I'll see if I can do something actually more on the base end too to get that Cerberus thing. I like that.
Oh, actually, I need to do that drawing. I didn't even realize it was 8 already.
You need to what?
I need to do the drawing for the Patreon.
Well, I'll let you do that because I'm going to take a break.
Okay. Actually, give me a second.
Okay.
Oh, thanks, Huey. That'll be good. Uh-oh. I'm messing with the camera. Let's see if I can move this back into place. Earthquake! Yes, drawing as in drawing a name out of a hat for Patreon. Although Demonican does do some drawing by hand, sketching and stuff, but not very often. Not anymore. That'd be an interesting thing to watch on stream, I think, watching somebody who's good at sketching draw.
Oh, I can.
There's probably a stream for that.
Yep, there are plenty of them, actually.
I only watch you, though.
Yeah, I know you forgot, Ronnie, but it was too late to remind you. I tried to tell you yesterday, but no luck. Yeah, I know. Yeah, this month is all over for Patreon, so I had to move Panda's stuff out of the way temporarily. Just putting it in the airbrush booth. All right, so the drawings, I already cut out all the names, and they're in the hat. Literally a hat. So we got the Black Knight. This one is a what? There it is. Come here. Is a first run number 395. Brand new. And then I got the Satan Twins. This is the second prize. That's the third prize. This is the second prize. Satan Twins first run. Number 175 out of 500. And then the art cards are here. And then the grand prize is going to be the Penance of Death box set, complete with the sealed pack of cards, and there should be the item cards in there as well, or the event card, sorry. And then that comes with some spring dice as well. So alright, let's get the actual hat. Ugh. Here it is, an actual top hat. Lots of names in it. Yeah, I've got them all in there. I'm gonna show you here on cam, kind of, I mix it up. Alright. This is for the third prize. This is the Black Knight is this one. Alright, 3, 2, 1, whatever this is. Nope, it's 2 of them, dang it. Come on. There's one. Wow, Dodo! Dodo actually won. That's awesome. He's gonna be happy about that. Alright, so the first one went to Dodo. And for you guys who did the $15 pledge, there are actually 3 tickets for each of you, and I actually have to put that back. You get the same chance every time, so. Alright, so now we're going to do for the Satan Twins, the second prize. Yeah, you can win multiple prizes too. There we go, here. 3, 2, 1, whichever this one is. Vince Papasadero. I don't know what his username is, but he pledged. So Vince won one. He won the Satan Twins. So he won the Satan Twins, so I gotta remember. I'm recording it, so it doesn't really matter. So I'll put that back in the hat. Alright, now we're gonna do the grand prize. This is for the death dice and the full set. So. Alright. Oh, no. Come on. I want them to stick together. There we go. Come
Next time, don't use sticky notes.
Oh, he won 2 of them. What do you know? That guy's gonna be so happy. He won 2 of them.
And those are 2 different slips, so it wasn't like he grabbed the same one twice, if you guys were paying attention. That it was written all out on one line and then all crammed together in a second one.
Yep, 2 different slips, so one guy won 2 prizes, actually. So that's the benefit of doing the $15 pledge. And here, just for you guys, I'll do a bonus one, too. I'll do another set of spring dice. Just for you guys. Whatever this is. You will never know won some spring dice. Wow, you actually... Good job, No. You won your spring dice. Cool. So let's take some tickets. You will never know. Vince and Dodo won the. There. You will never know won the spring dice. And then Vince won 2 things. Lucky
Well,
jerk.
time flies when you're having fun. It's 8 o'clock already, and I have to hit the gym.
Yeah, we both do. So that's it for this one. So Vince won the full set of everything. You will never know you won the another set of spring dice. Dodo won the Black Knight, and Vince also won the Satan Twins. So lucky him. And I'm not sure actually, Charles. I'm probably gonna do a painted figure. I'm probably gonna do a painted figure and an unpainted figure for the second month. That's something I've got to think about. I thought I'd have a plan, but I didn't come up with one yet. So you'll see the video for this on Patreon, and then you'll see the video for the next set for this month. But let's see who's on, and I'm gonna have to change this over to another streamer.
Alexa, stop.
I think Vincey's on. Yeah, Vincey's on doing some casting, actually. So, hand this over to her. So, congrats to everybody. I made sure to put the notes on them, so I'll contact you guys directly. So, see you guys later. There we go.